Hello, Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another podcast here on Fearless Games. I'm Matt the Vet, and today I'm joined by...
the Stark Lord.
And James the Wildcard.
And yes, so we spat one of the others out. We were tired of simulating them.
Yeah, it got boring.
Yeah. Sorry.
But Matt's still being interesting, so we kept him.
I'm not that interesting.
So how's everybody doing?
Okay.
Did you all send your Mother's Day's blessings?
I did. Spent the whole day with her.
Very good.
I drove around with a tree the day before for someone else's mother.
Odd.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about you?
I gave blessings and tidings of goodness.
Did you get a Samsung Galaxy tablet and call her with face chat?
No.
You've been watching too many of those commercials.
Hey, I'm watching all the those That Guy commercials, and that's all they've been playing is that stupid tablet.
Did you get to the point where you click on them to choose different options for that? Because I have.
I don't choose the options. I let it pick it for me.
I eventually just gave up, I got to know about the tent. What's going on with the tent?
Oh, that's what I get all... I usually get the tent and the college dorm.
Oh, you don't get the kids trying with the refrigerator? And so how do you make breakfast in bed anyways?
Very rarely. Very rarely.
The college dorm one is the problem with the college dorm one is that's not really a present if you think in the long run, because I'll guarantee that she used her parents' credit card to pay for that flight home.
Probably.
So, hi, Mom. Here's a $700 bill for a two-way flight, middle of round-trip flight, on short notice, and feed me for 2 days. Oh, here's my laundry.
It's the ultimate gift.
Yes. Make them feel like they're there again, mooching off of you.
They'll be so glad when you leave.
That's the real gift.
So in truth, that kind of commercial should be something where she comes the day before or 2 days before Mother's Day, and the Mother's Day present is her leaving.
Yes.
Yes.
So, before we go into news and crazy stuff like that, I've got a question that was posed to me, and I'm going to pose it to you guys.
Wait, I'm going to be psychic. It's, how is a raven like a writing desk?
There's an R in both, but no.
Oh, is that really what it is, by the way?
That's one of the legitimate answers I've heard for it. I don't know if it's the actual answer.
I don't think there's supposed to be an answer is the problem.
I don't think so, but that was one answer that was given to me once, was that there's an R in both. But no, there's this gentleman, Dragon22, the guy who's had you asked all those Tau questions.
Oh, that I was very unhelpful with, unfortunately.
Well, no, you made a video that I explained it pretty well.
Yeah, I forgot about that video.
Hey, Dragon, if you're listening, if Starklord did a good job, let us know in the comments.
If I didn't do a good job, let us know in the comments.
So then we can belate him for it later.
Yes, you can shoot me with paintballs. Wait, don't actually do that, please.
Yes, do it. It's fun. Oh, it's so much fun. It's also It's also fun being hit by them. But if you're going to shoot them with paintballs, use marbleizers. They sting.
Why you gotta tell people that?
Because everyone should know the joy of marbleizers. Seamless paintballs are amazing. Okay, they're not seamless, but you can't feel the seam, which makes them
more aerodynamic. Right.
Yes. But anyway.
What's the question from our friend?
The question was talking about priming and different primers and such. And after asking the question, now one thing I will say is though priming is not a necessity, it does give, I personally feel, a better quality paint result. So the question here is do we primer our models, and do we have any projects that we're working on right now? And for me, yes, I do primer. I primarily I go to Home Depot, I buy a cheap can of 49-cent matte black or matte white, whichever I need at the time, and I do that. Sometimes with minis, I'll hand prime if some things I need to be prime black and prime white, I'll hand paint, but yes, I do. Project-wise, I'm actually working on a bunch of Space Marines right now to finish out my Dark Angels, and 2 drop pods so I can say I'm done with the Legends of War bit that we're working on.
Nice.
How about you guys? Do you prime, and are there any projects that you're working on right now?
Do you want to go first, James?
No, you go.
Okay.
He's got to think about it.
Yeah, I have primed. I've done priming and not priming. The biggest project I've done priming on is my Imperial Guard, and I did that all with Krylon Neutral Gray, from Home Depot, because why buy the... You don't have to buy the Army Painter stuff. I mean, some of it is good, but I'm painting over 100 models, why bother?
Like I said, like the 45-cent stuff it does the job.
Yeah. My only warning with this stuff is obviously make sure you're at least a foot away and do a light spray. I accidentally messed up once or twice with it and had guardsmen with no face. It's not a big deal when you're painting over 100 guardsmen because one guy with no face, no one will notice, but if you're doing that with Space Marines, that's like a dead model.
So, well, with me, I've never had that issue.
Yeah, I held it over his face too long. I was spraying too slowly, or I was too close, and it was a humid day, and it basically made a giant puddle where his face was. That's
actually one of the things I don't prime. I remove the heads from the sprues, and I flesh paint them later.
Another difference between our painting styles is, at least with Guard, I fully assemble and base everything, and then I prime. So that's where the danger comes in with that. I do full body priming. If I prime.
So depending on your project, is you prime or not. Do you have any projects right now that you're working on?
I have 2 current projects, probably more soon, but I haven't got a lot of time for all of them. The main one is that I've taken apart my Tau army for Legends of War, and I'm repainting.
Not that he's given up; he's repainting them.
Yeah, I've taken apart to repaint it. I was not happy with what I was doing, not just the quality, but overall the scheme. Just wasn't happy with it. So I'm redoing that whole thing. I'm not going to prime most of it because I'm pulling off a 2nd or 3rd layer of paint off of some of these models.
And now that you've admitted that you're not happy with it, as your friend, I have to say I also didn't like the paint job. Yeah. I thought it didn't look like, half the time it didn't look like they were painted.
I know, that's what it really came down to. I'm like, if I did a better job of the gray, the first squad of Fire Warriors I did and my HQ I was good with. I'm like, they look fine, but the rest of them just look like a gray blob, and it wasn't clicking.
For those who haven't seen, because I still have to, after Rise of the Magi and all that, I have to sit down and filter through that whole debacle of a horrible recording job we did.
Hey, that was my fault.
He painted his Tau gray, but it's like not priming a plastic model and then painting it Fortress Gray. You don't know what you painted and what you didn't paint.
You really don't, especially when you use speed paint through the entire thing.
Yes, well, certainly grays it's okay. Like Kodak's gray you can get away with because it's slightly darker than the plastic, but Fortress Gray is like the same color as the plastic.
In the long term, the base color ended up being the same color as the plastic, and then the shading didn't make it better.
Yeah, certain plastics is like a shade of plastic not plastic, shade of gray, which is like plastic, or even like a certain resin color. Certain resins have a similar gray color.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell. I remember when I was playing around with Death's Battle Gray, I don't know what it's called now. I remember I base coated something with it, and then I came back to it and I went, did I even paint that? I couldn't even tell.
And you said you had a second project that you're working on.
Well, the second 40k related ones, I did start making a small force of Space Marines, just going to be 20 guys, that's it.
I thought that was your allied force for...
Yeah, but they're not going to be my allies anymore because I redid my Tau list since the new codex came out, and there's no room for them anymore.
That's right. Did you put in a Riptide?
I did not. I think Riptide's not going to play with one, though.
Dude, you're not following the trend, which is taking the most powerful new thing and throwing it immediately in your army.
Yeah, no.
You're so not trend-setting.
I'm so sorry.
Follow the crowd, you sheep!
Oh, after that, I still have to work on my Infinity and my War Machine stuff, because once the summer happens, I'm starting War Machine.
Yeah, and sadly, I'm going to join you.
That's not
well, not sadly. It's sad because I'm doing the same thing I did with 40k. I gave it up, and I'm rolling right back in.
Well,
but this time I'm not going to buy a spot
for the War Machine thing.
Yeah, you got robbed.
That is true. That is true. But I'm promising myself I'm probably only going to buy the starter set. I'll buy the one caster that I want, and then I may eventually buy the Colossus thing because it is pretty looking.
That's what I'm planning to do. I'm going to get the starter for the new group and maybe a couple little bits. That's going to be like it. I'm going to really limit myself. Really quick before we go on, which group are you looking at picking up?
Signar.
Oh, you're going into the Siggies. Yeah.
Hey. Well, it was between Crix and Signar, and there's only one build I can do well with Crix, and I don't want to spend the money, and it's impossible to find Lich Lord Terminus anymore.
Fair enough.
At least I've never found them, so I don't want to go back to Crix, and, like, they were cool, and, yeah, First Army, they just weren't clicking with me. Signar, I think I can do better with.
Okay, my cousin actually is starting to play Crix.
Crix, tell him to get Lich Lord Terminus. He's broken.
I remember I saw him in action. Anyways, back to the topic. James, what about you?
James, do you prime when you painted? Do you have any projects that you're working on?
Now, clarification is needed. Define prime. Are we talking about the color before the base color or the base coat?
The color that you would put underneath all of that.
So the color you put on the Version model be a pure plastic resin, that first color.
Yeah, the white or the black to give your color a palette to work on.
I always prime. The reason I always prime is no matter what I do, I notice that paint either chips off or rubs off. Even if I don't touch it, it just naturally falls off. So I prime a lot specifically to help counteract that. I know, yes, I do wash my models and prep them that way. And I prime for that specific reason, and it helps me figure out a little bit, especially for, like, doing recessed colors. If I want to keep something dark, I won't touch it, or I'll do it differently. It just helps me, fill in the puzzle. I prime, the way I prime is solely with black paint. I try priming with white, and it left me scarred.
I'm actually going to try an experiment with that. A friend gave me a Wraith Lord. I'm going to prime him white and see how he comes out, because I'm going to try like a Wraith bony color with him.
Yeah.
Cool.
I do know that white will make colors seem a bit richer. Like for example, the red will be like brighter and dark. It will be brighter as opposed to being darker type of musky red when it's black. I just like basing black because it's easy. But I have noticed priming. I watch a lot of Buy Painted on BUY Painted on YouTube. I don't know what nationality the guy is, but he's amazing with the airbrush and with some freehand stuff. I like just using the brush. It always primes the model on Tamiya gray, and I do know that Tamiya gray base color, primer color, is a very good thing to prime your models with. He does it for any color. So if you're getting bored, or you don't want to do white, you don't want to do black because it's too harsh, I do know that particular gray is a very good primer.
That's good to know.
If you was wondering. And as far as project goes, Dark Angels are on the back burner because, well, I'm not in the state where Dark Angels are. So, and I can't.
That's no excuse.
I can't bring them here due to space issues. But I may have a project in the works, and maybe a kind of a collaborative thing with the Sark Lord and his town.
It's true. Oh, hold on a second. I'm getting a phone call.
You can't get phone calls.
You're not allowed. It'll be much slower in scale because it'll literally be one model at a time when I have maybe like 2 days a week, or 2 days a month, sometimes 2 days every 4 weeks to do it. But it is a bit of a collaborative thing, which will be kind of fun and interesting. So that is the answer. I do prime. I always prime. I haven't tried the gray because I noticed most people, when they prime like that, gray use an airbrush. I don't have an airbrush, but you easily paint it on. And that is one thing that I'm not the biggest airbrush fan for several reasons. More stuff I gotta clean and work out. More stuff I gotta buy and I don't have, obviously. And also just that's really it. I have to go out and get it. The space issues for where I am right now, obviously, and there's more stuff to clean. And I hate cleaning paintbrushes myself. But I do like the crispness of a priming that I've seen people prime with airbrushes. Just doing priming with each color, it's just so smooth and silky looking.
Yeah. Wait till you see the drop pods. The green on them looks beautiful because I airbrushed them all on. But funny thing with my Eldar, I don't prime them for some reason. It's probably because I use Cantor Blue as a base coat, and I guess I'm just counting that as their prime color.
Well,
Yeah.
But
You can prime with your base coat, technically.
Yeah, you can.
Actually, if it covers enough, like those what were called foundation paints, could easily be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, and also the base colors I find in the 40K lineup is pretty good with that as well.
Mm.
Yeah, they're basically foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one thing...
Oh, wait, before you continue, I just want to make one point. Now, before, James, you said that when you touch things, paint falls off of it? Or whatever?
Yes.
Well, that doesn't happen with your models once you send them off, because I can't get your paint off of some of these models.
That's because they
that
kept
is
falling
true.
off, so I give them a nice solid coat.
Yeah, I just not green stuff.
Simple
green some models for the second time, and I'm pushing off my paint scheme, and all of a sudden I'm seeing red on them, and I'm like, oh my god, that's still on there, and it's still not coming off.
Yeah, I miss trying to make Farsight Enclave, but that is not the collaborative thing. And the collaborative thing is so much cooler. So,
Yes. I'm going to start on that next week, I think, by the way. I think I have time.
Yeah. If you really are having problems, I don't know about resin, I know pewter and plastic. If you have some old brake fluid laying around, and if it's fluid laying around, you probably don't want to use it in your car anyway because it's hygroscopic and attracts water, which isn't good. But it will take paint off, especially if it's dot 3 or dot 2. It'll take paint right off. It may take some time, but that may be the more aggressive thing. I don't like promoting it as a paint stripper because it's brake fluid and it's not
exactly safe.
not the healthiest thing, and it can catch fire. So
I might try that. Oh,
so
by the way,
that is another thing.
I got a nice, awesome vat to use for that because I might have gotten a water bath from our old job.
Nice.
Why do you have a water bath?
It was busted, and they're like, we're going to throw it out. I'm like, can I have it? And they're like, why? Maybe I can fix it. Or if I can't, it's a steel bath. It's one of they're not big, but it's big enough to clean model.
Speaking of that, I'm actually working on creating a little, paint stripping box.
Nice.
Because I have, the issue where whenever I try to remove paint, the plate chips and goes everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of just building, a box with gloves in it and a clear shield in the front so I can see what's going on and I can then strip paint anywhere without ruining stuff.
Honestly, this sounds weird probably, but I usually strip paint underwater. I submerge either in another new vat of Simple Green or in water and keep the brush under the water so there's no spray.
Yeah.
I mean, my hands are directly in contact with the chemicals, but I'm used to that and I don't care.
Well, Simple Green is...
it's pretty mild.
Simple Green.
And I usually
Simple Green is completely biodegradable. So that's why I like Simple Green so much. It's really safe. Because if you ingested it, unless you ingest it in large quantities, you really shouldn't panic. But if you ingested it, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I have to say that I've been smelling it for 3 days straight now, and it hasn't gotten to me yet.
I still have a Chaos Lord sitting in a box, I think, for almost 2 months now.
Nice. Brake fluid, you don't want to... If you're gonna...
if I'm doing that, I put on, arm-length gloves. I'm not touching that stuff directly.
You can touch it directly. It won't really affect your skin that bad because unless you have an open wound, obviously. But you don't want to
always have.
Use it. You want to take it. You want to either brush it in the bath or brush it above the bath, but not in water. You want to use water to clean it off once you're done scraping paint off. Because it doesn't work well when you scrape it in water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, mineral spirits, white spirits, isopropyl alcohol can also work.
Oh, I haven't.
Rubbing alcohol works amazing. When I was stripping the Necron Tomb ships for the Rise of the Magi thing, I literally dipped a cotton ball in nail polish remover, it was rubbing alcohol, and I just touched the battleship, and all the paint literally was gone.
It works.
It didn't even look like. Oh yeah, pewter and rubbing alcohol is your best friend when stripping models.
The nice thing about using the isopropyl, which is rubbing alcohol, is that it loves to get into every nook and cranny. It's not like other things, I guess the molecules of the pig or whatever, but the spirit itself, the white spirit as it's called overseas, I think, just gets into everywhere. The thing is, you want to get the highest filtration you can get. The highest I have, I think, is 93%, but you can find close to 95, 96. You want to look, they sell them in the same area, but one will be in a slightly either smaller bottle or just be a couple of things up. The reason I say you want to get the highest you can is the rest of it is water. You want to get the highest you can, because when you get something higher, 91 is usually what you find. At the very least, go with that. But you want to get at least 93 or more, because if you're going to start painting with alcohol-based paints, you want the higher concentration. That way you don't run the risk of rusting out the metal shaping pigment in the pigment of the alcohol-based paint when you use that as a thinner. So that's why if you're just getting the highest you can now, so it can serve double duty should you ever want to dip into alcohol-based paints. It also works pretty well as stripping. But yeah, no, when I paint things, it stays after I get the paint fine to stick. I don't know why.
Yeah, it really doesn't come off.
Yeah, no, I needed to take a bunch of dentist picks to get a lot of the paint off Samuel.
Yeah, I think it's a latent superpower.
I don't know what use it has, but it annoys the hell out of me.
That's the use, to annoy people when you give them
speaking of, I did see Iron Man 3 over the weekend.
I did too. I'm sorry I didn't see it with you, but I saw it at like a random time.
I really enjoyed that.
We are no longer friends.
I know, you saw it Friday night, right?
Yeah, no, yes, we saw it Friday night.
Yeah, we saw it the next day because we were walking by a theater and it's like, we have an hour, let's see if it's playing. Oh, it is. Let's watch it.
What'd you think?
I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I don't think it's my favorite of the three, I'd have to say. Elena thought that 2 was better.
Wow.
And after seeing it, she loves 2. She thinks 2 is the best one.
2 was done very well, and because of that War Machine, it gets brownie points in my opinion.
Yeah, well, you're a huge War Machine fan. That makes sense.
And
though I enjoyed the film, I can understand why a lot of Iron Man fans have hated it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you, Biz, without telling you.
Yeah.
What my people might have issues with. And I don't want to give anything away, but I will say I enjoyed the movie. I don't know if I like 2 better or on par with 3. I'd say production-wise, I think 3 was the better of the 3. But it's a very good Tony Stark story. He grows a lot. That's
really good. I think if I had any major issue with it, it's the henchmen in the film. The henchmen, I really couldn't get behind in terms of just what their whole shtick was. That was the only thing that was a little iffy to me.
I liked them. I thought that, they make sense.
You know what it is I guess it's after 2 films of super suits, it was different, where it's like, yes, different, not a super suit, very happy, and yet at the same time, because it's different, it scares me, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. I watched a couple of... Oh, sorry, continue.
I have a question for Starkler. I don't want to give anything away, or anything with the movie. I don't know much about the caricature of the Mandarin in all the years of being around. I don't know if you know more about him, but how did you feel about the character?
I know a lot about the Mandarin. I'm not the biggest Iron Man fan, but I do love Iron Man, and I do pay attention to his rogues gallery. That wasn't the Mandarin, I'll say it that much, but I liked the movie, and I liked the story they went with, and I liked how it worked. And I was totally fine with all of it. I'm like, yeah, it figures, and I laughed, and it was good. I did find
at least that there were 2 things. Like I know a little, not a whole lot. Like I know a base understanding where I could probably get through a conversation with if you brought up the Mandarin. They did do, I believe, there was 2 things that were faithful to Mandarin in the comic book.
His coat and his haircut. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll talk about it a little bit more after we finish the podcast, but there are 2 things I'd say where I was like, okay, that's Mandarin. But I will say that Ben Kingsley was amazing.
I do love Ben Kingsley. And the other guy, too. The other villain.
Ben Kingsley was awesome as the Mandarin, and it was great. And I loved the video thing at the end.
Yes. Oh, the after the credits bit?
Yeah,
perfect.
That was
Which
good.
always stay for, by the way, when you're watching a Marvel film. Chances are they'll have to great.
Yeah, exactly. No one leaves anymore in the theater. I love that.
Even still, even before they started doing that, after
we always
after
did.
college,
We were nerds.
after college, I waited. I said, 1, makes it easier to leave the theater afterwards.
Yes.
2, in my opinion, these people took this time to make the film. They deserve me to sit in the theater and watch their names scroll by, even if I never remember who they were.
And 3, it avoids situations like when you almost get knocked down the stairs after your friend gets angry at a terrible movie that shall not be mentioned, Helsing.
I still remember the day we saw
Austin
Helsing.
almost killed me after that movie.
It's really a sad nerd rage, but I can almost understand it, but it's still a little bit of an overreaction.
It was a complete
for
overreaction.
But, very much so.
That
I
was
do
an
want to say,
overreaction.
with Iron Man 3, without giving anything away again, I don't like to spoil things, especially when it's new. I love the whole ship of the Iron Patriot.
Yeah, that was good.
That was great. I love the back and forth with that. It was great.
I did like the Iron Patriot.
And he looked really good in the movie because that concept for a suit can be really cheesy.
Oh, it's really good. The one thing I'm going to say, and I don't want to bash anyone, and I don't give anything away, but I did watch some people's reviews afterwards, just because, okay, I watched it, let's see what other people thought.
Yeah.
And I really have to disagree with Spoonie.
I didn't see what he said.
Yeah, no, you don't. I still watch his channel.
Well, no,
but
I
always
don't
respect his
read
opinions, even if he's. And I'm like, okay, I didn't like it, but you actually missed half the plot and half your complaints about things that you don't understand.
Yeah,
and it's
I think that's a big issue with
any reviewer. Any reviewer can have that happen. I'm just I'm watching. I'm like, I like what you're saying. You're entertaining me, but you're wrong. You missed the plot point on that. There's other plot points you should be complaining about that you totally missed.
Well, there's a great example is Prometheus with that.
Yeah, so many people did not.
There's this YouTube channel guy, okay, who this is before the DVD came out with the special features. This guy took every piece of information given to us in the movie, every piece of information on the fake Waytech commercials that were on the website, and information, and he went and he gave addressed questions and addressed theories that he had that answered questions. And surprisingly, the stuff he brought out after he mentioned was like, oh right, that makes sense now. A great example I'm going to give is the geologist with the map gets lost.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the map on him.
No, that was...
The map is transferred to the spaceship, and the spaceship is telling them because they keep going to the spaceship. Spaceship, what do you see? And they have to tell them what the infrastructure looks like. So obviously he got lost, the tunnels all look the same, and he doesn't have a physical printout of the map on him.
No.
And everyone kept forgetting that he never pulls up a display, he never does anything but launch the probes, but everyone assumes he had the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he was supposed to be surveying for mineral types and stuff. He wasn't. It mapped it, but the map is sent back to base because it doesn't have anything to pile that.
Q tells you where to go. Now, I got a question. You brought up Prometheus, real quick.
That biologist was an idiot?
Well, yeah.
Why was he an idiot?
Well,
what?
Before that, I do want to say the Iron Man franchise for the three movies kind of went the way I thought they would, and we can talk about that after the podcast. But I don't want to forget that statement.
Overall,
Prometheus, I was reading something somewhere, on some type of something that wasn't just fan based, kind of official almost. Is it true that that series, that universe, is not tied in with the Blade Runner? Or something like that?
There is a little joke towards Blade Runner in the background in that movie, but they're not officially tied. Basically, there's an email in the background that you can read in one scene, or a journal entry by Wayland Yutani, talking about his friend, who I just got the name of the main corporation in Blade Runner. But it's my friend so-and-so, just as the last name, had the same idea about robotics, or about living organisms, but I made it better with robotics. And it kind of makes a lean towards Blade Runner, a nod at it, but I don't know if you want to call that official. But
I don't think it was just that. I think it was something with, I I don't know. I saw it was a little article, and I didn't read it too well because it was just like, weird, and then I moved on with my life. But
I also think Ridley Scott, in his mind, connects all of his movies. He said at some point, I can't say if that's a true quote, but I think he said that somewhere.
I don't know. I think I own for me. I have to check, but I think there's something in the Blu-ray or something like the like special features thing that also kind of semi-links them together as well. So I don't know. But I was curious if like what's going on.
Gun's probably in the background or something, something stupid like that.
Surprisingly, also, it has been confirmed Ridley Scott is doing a second one.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm excited. I like Prometheus.
I'm interested. I enjoyed it, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what people were expecting. Like, I don't know if people were just expecting Ridley Scott to just sit down in a chair and go, alright, let's begin, and open up a book and then just tell you the answers to the first Alien movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what they were expecting.
I don't know if you watched his movies, but he never answers any questions in his movies. Ever. Or if he does, it doesn't help you answer anything important.
Like they sit there and go, it left you with more questions than answers. I was like, were you really sitting there for Ridley Scott to go, okay, folks, here we go. What was those things in the bottom of the ship in the first film? Well, let me explain that to you.
Nope.
I was like, what were you expecting from this movie?
This isn't James Cameron here. He doesn't give you all the answers. This is Ridley Scott. He's just gonna do crap, and it's gonna be great.
Now, speaking of James Cameron with Avatar...
I didn't want to bring up Avatar. I was talking about the second Alien movie.
Hey.
Which I love.
You didn't have to explain anything, because that movie was awesome.
That movie was awesome. I love Hicks. And what's his name? Paxton. Hudson, yeah. Game over, man. Great. Love Hudson.
What was it? In Avatar, they're hunting for unobtainium, right?
Shut up about the unobtainium, but continue.
Well, here's the thing is...
Just name your MacGuffin, why don't you?
If it's called unobtainium, but they obtained it, then shouldn't it be called slightly hard to get a hold of?
Anium?
Yes. Because clearly it's obtainable.
Clearly, you're getting confused. It's named after Dr. Unobtainio, who was the original finder of the ore.
Don't you start. Oh, speaking of Robotech,
Robotech. Hey. Let's be fair to the purists out there. Also, /Macross.
No, we're going to talk about Robotech.
It's the Macross saga of Robotech. I'll concede that point because it is. But Macross is actually, I think, storyline-wise a bit different.
It's just like I do see a lot of times, like, if you mention the word Robotech in front of a lot of Macross fans, they get really like,
they do.
It's okay.
I don't understand.
You don't know.
Well, they did the same thing to us with Voltron, but we all still love Go Lion. So, I mean, what's the big deal?
Yeah. So,
it's like with Dragon Ball Z, It's Saiyajin. Why do I have to say they're people?
Yeah.
Because that's how you say it in Japanese.
Palladium books, like I mentioned the Kickstarter, but it's got roughly a week left, 7 days left. I don't know how quick this podcast is going to be up, so there might be 6 or 5 days left by the time this goes up, just because. I don't know.
It depends on my wrist.
Yeah. So it's coming to a close. There's a lot of stretch goals that they've met. It's really cool. We just got the female battle suits for the Zentradi. Real quick, Zentradi are 50 feet tall, so they don't use mechs, they use battle suits because they're gigantic. But, or battle pods.
Don't they also have, like battle singers? Sorry. Isn't there a movie about that?
I'll explain this in the last podcast.
We did explain the last podcast.
I didn't make it through the whole last podcast, I'm sorry.
For the short answer, they're used to confuse the enemy.
Okay, can they make a model for that? Because I just want to play
that's the
game.
human side. The humans have the singer who confuses the Zentradi.
Okay.
Because it's a confusion thing because their culture is only a war culture. They don't understand peace.
Love and peace.
Okay, so when we play this game, you have to understand I will be constantly playing 90s Japanese techno.
Okay,
and fine. I will just be I'll find a small enough clip from Macross of the Aliens that I can just loop and play that over and over.
So, they've reached a lot of stretch goals. In fact, they've reached a lot of their stretch goals for strength in numbers, which is the number of backers.
Cool.
They just have one left, and that's a 3,500 backers goal. They met the 3,200 backers goal. I'm pretty sure they did anyway. And I encourage anybody if they're interested in Robotech and haven't backed it now, to back it. And this is purely selfish reasons, because I want the 3,500 stretch goal to come, not just for me, for anybody who actually wants to buy the game. Now, the reason I say that is the stretch goal for 3,500 are decal sheets for the Zentradi and the UEDF to be included in the box game.
Nice.
I think they're available to buy separate, but they'll include two UEDF and two Zentradi decal sheets with the box game if it reaches 3,500 backers, which is pretty cool. And if you're a big fan of Robotech, you can check out, it's got a gameplay little demo video up there, it's got a basic background video up there, it's got force organization, just kind of ideas of the different suits for both, different stuff for both sides up there. It's got a sample of the rules up there to look at as well. There's a backing level, I think it's $80, which gives you the game itself, plus some extras. And it basically equates to the fact that you're getting the game for $65 because of the extras involved. So it's pretty cool. It's got, like I said, roughly a week left. It's looking very cool. It looks like it'll be fast-paced and fun to play. And it looks like really the game itself is coming with all you need to even play, and you barely need to get anything else after that. And what's also cool is Battle Foam was working with them, so you can get Robotech-specific Battle Foam. There's nothing really cool in the cutouts right now, but it's a special Battle Foam case that has a Robotech symbol on it, and it has
nice
stuff for it. If
That's
you want
nice.
To get that. So it's coming.
Speaking of nice things from game companies, it's shocking. This is coming from Games Workshop. Gasp. Nice things. You guys have heard by now what's happening with Specialist Games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, apparently, though, despite the fact that they're basically stopping the production line, GW seems to have understood the fact that there was a lot of panic purchasing, and panic purchasing exceeded the number of units on hand, but they were made before the counts would be updated. So they actually, even though they're stopping the production, they're allowing the production line to cast the models for everyone who managed to get their order in after they ran out, but before the website corrected that problem. So they're actually going the extra mile to give these guys the models that they ordered, not going, sorry, too late.
No, that's nice, I guess.
That is nice of them. I do want to point out that I think that GW also gives us nice things, is nice in giving us really awesome looking models in general. So, I mean, this is a nice thing that GW does.
Yeah.
It's just very rare to see a company that will actually go that extra mile to make you the piece that you were supposed to get. Wow.
It is, and to put into perspective for this game, that would be like going to a computer company that made a limited run of computers and saying, I still want that, I put my order in, and then going, we'll build you just one for you. It's basically a custom building before the order happen. It usually doesn't happen. So
holy crap.
What?
I'm just going through seeing what's gone right now. The Eldar are completely gone. The Arcanites are the only escorts left, and of course, because the Arcanites were the least favorite, the Space Marines.
Yeah.
The
I just got that. I'm so slow.
I just got that
Stupid
too.
Pokemon people, I hate you all. I don't mean that.
Space...
Pokemon's cool. I still hate you.
For Space Marines, the Novas and the Battle Barge is the only thing left. And this, when I mean left, I mean still has a picture on the site. Like, they took down everything else. The Necrons, they only have the Jackals and the Tomb Ship still up there. Chaos and Imperial are probably the ones with the most still sticking around. Orcs have lost everything but their battleship, their Terror ship, and their Ram ships. Nids have lost everything but their Leviathan and their Stalker drones.
That's fine, no one bought Nids anyway.
To be honest, You buy a box of Grunts, you got yourself all the escorts and cruisers you need.
Yeah,
for
everyone
Tyranid.
kit bash Tyranids, and as James said, playing Nids is just a flowchart, so half the time you don't even get to play with your force anyways in BFG, so
playing Nids is like going to a Christopher Nolan movie.
Listen, I think it was one of the best ways to really truly represent a hive mind. The problem with truly representing a hive mind feeling like that is that you really can't play it the way you want to play it, because hive minds go about it in a certain way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Maybe the same thing is representing a completely autonomous AI network like Skynet. Flowchart. You can't play that the way you want. You have to follow certain protocols. Yeah. So it really leaves you just going, yep, look at that. Okay, this happened because it says it's going to happen. I'm just going to go get a soda, and you can just move on.
Yeah. For people that don't
for the
know,
Tau,
basically, just to clarify, like Tyranid in BFG, if you're not in Synapse, you have to basically go through this long list of
no. Even if you're in Synapse, because it goes, are you in Synapse? Yes, then this happens. No, then this.
Yeah, but when you're in Synapse, you have
this.
some control. If you're not in Synapse, it really you're doing a flowchart, and just moving the ship's how it tells you to move it.
Well, the whole army was in a flowchart. It's just that if you were in Synapse, the flowchart was easy. Are they within range? Yes. Do as you want. That was their flowchart for that part. After that, it gets complicated. No. Or is there an enemy within 12 inches? No. Then this. Is there an enemy within 6 inches? Yes. They attack.
No.
Is the ship crippled?
It's basically the way to play single-player BFG, really.
Yeah, totally.
It's the easiest way. Just get two tiered fleets to do it and let the game play itself.
Oh god, they should make a BFG video game and just watch that happen. That'd be wonderful.
Yes, it's the only part of the time of the game where the game plays itself for you because the Nids need that much flowcharting. For the Tau, they have the Explorer-class starship.
Ugh, that thing's ugly anyways.
The Merchant-class starship.
It looks exactly like the Explorer.
with a bigger bridge and bigger engines.
No, it actually isn't.
No, this one, the bridge is slightly wider.
The picture
is
a different distance away. Trust me, the Galaxy, or the Explorer is pretty big.
Again, let's be honest, who bought GW Tau for BFG? Really once? Maybe before Forge World did it, and then when Forge World did it, people bought regular GW because they couldn't afford Forge World ones. But they really
I bought some of the GW ones. The Forge World ones are actually cheaper and look better. And
and all of them are gone. Pretty much all the Tau are gone. The only thing on Forge World's site right now is a couple of the Rogue Trader stuff and the flyer markers, but the Tau also still have their orbitals and their Defender class escorts. The Crude Sphere is still there, but it's not available.
Dang.
And
that's okay. If we ever want a Crude Sphere, we'll just paint a tennis ball silver.
No, if you ever want one. The Dark Eldar Cruiser is gone.
That's pretty much their only model. That and like another one.
Well, no, they had two. They had the Dark Eldar Corsair class escort, and then the Bits pack to make it into the 7 other ones they had. Miscellaneous, the Blackstone Fortress is not available, but the defense platforms are still available.
That's good. We already have a couple Blackstones, don't we?
No, we never got one.
Dang, you're right. I was trying to eBay them, and I never got
And you never did.
I never got a good one. I kept losing out.
We have a Remily,
we'll get one.
Remily class Starfort.
Yeah, we do.
Which we need another one.
We will get more. We'll get Blackstones by the summer. We'll get at least one.
And we need Chaos. We need some Chaos battleships. But speaking of...
How do we need Chaos battleships? We have like over 3,000 points between us.
Because we only have 2 battleships.
Oh, right. We just have cruisers otherwise.
Yes, we have cruisers, escorts, the Planet Killer, and whatever battleship you have.
Oh yeah, that thing's awesome, man.
And actually, the only thing left on the Chaos is the cruisers, the Plague Ship Pack, and the escorts, and the flyer markers. But Rise of the Magi finally came out.
Yep, and it looked like it did decently so far.
Yeah, I watched them as they came out. I enjoyed it, and I do want to say all the comments have been positive, and we appreciate that. It gives us inspiration.
Yeah, thank you guys for being happy and nice.
And
yes, we are very happy that you liked it.
That one person commented how unlikely those Eldar rolls were. That actually happened. Nothing actual battle-wise was fudged. The Eldar really rolled that bad against the Orcs.
The campaign was played, and then Matt wrote the story to fit the campaign.
What it was is I took as it says, I adapted the game sessions as they happened.
Yeah.
And basically all I did was I recorded the footage, and I literally just said what happened, and then I just said, now how would Stryker say that?
Yeah. And you think the Eldar were unlucky, guys. Come on, did you see what happened to the Tau? They, never had a chance. They failed their roles before the game even started.
Well, against the Orcs, the Eldar really made really improbable rolls that were bad for them.
Okay, it wasn't as bad as the Necrons, since they lost on turn 3.
Well, the Necrons never lost.
No. Against the Eldar, it was like Necrons went, Eldar came in, Necrons killed them.
Yeah.
Well, it was almost just as bad because it was just 6 escorts wiped out both of your capital ships.
Yep.
It was one round torpedoes because you lost one of them to blast markers.
Yep.
So it was really bad.
It was horrible in all forms. But no, I felt horrible for the Tau in that one. And surprisingly, there was a battle
really poorly, and it just didn't get better from there.
And there's one battle that was missing from that whole thing, actually.
Really, we left one out.
I left one out because the Planet Killer was in it, and I was like, then it makes the Planet Killer's entrance at the end not so awesome.
Yeah.
And I sadly, unfortunately, because of space, I deleted the footage, so I was gonna do a deleted scene thing, and now we can't have it.
What was it at least fighting? Can you tell us?
It was you fighting Chaos.
Oh, right. That went terribly, too.
Where we discovered you don't board a Planet Killer that has a Mark of Khorne on it.
No, you don't.
Because then it's got the only thing that can compete against it is a Kroot Sphere.
Yep. Still don't have one of those. That's the best thing about Kroot Sphere. It just, for people that doesn't know BFG rules, your hull points equals how many guys basically you have to board other ships. Kroot Sphere, they always just have a boarding value of 20. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to somehow hit the other target to board it, and Kroot Spheres can't.
You don't need to hit it.
Well, I mean, you have to get into close.
You have to get in contact with it. Yeah.
And with a Kroot Sphere, it's like hitting it because there's no turning with the darn thing.
And for everyone who doesn't know, a Planet Killer also has a 20 hit point value, and a Mark of Khorne doubles that, so it starts with 40.
Oh god.
+1 for being Chaos, +1 for being double the +2 for being double the other person, because you're always going to be at least double with a 40 hit point.
Sometimes I just don't know why does no one play this game? I mean, I'm so upset right now, but at the same time, I'm loving this ridiculousness.
Well, there is a huge community. There's the whole Battlefleet Gothic Revised, which I was thinking...
There was Portmaw for a long time. Did that site ever get back up?
No, but there's the specialist forums that are around, and After Image Dan also has a big support with that. And I was actually looking through it, and he was talking to me later how what we might want to do, and I was thinking of doing it, is incorporating the Battlefleet Gothic Revised version of the Eldar and the Necrons, because it balances them out dramatically.
Yeah, because right now, Necrons just auto-kill Eldar.
And Eldar auto-kill practically everything else.
No, I've beaten you not on camera.
Well, Necrons basically are equal win against any BFG fleet.
Yeah.
It's so hard to beat them.
They have pulses that just come out and hit. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, apparently I still have to really thumb through it, but apparently with the new version, Eldar still have their holofields, but they're not as broken, and they actually have shields. And
I like you not having shields. That's how I beat you. I surrounded you with explosions.
And then they did instead of it being move shoot move, it's move shoot.
Okay.
Which apparently is very effective and also balances them out.
Yeah, because in a game like BFG, move shoot move is really OP. I don't want to say it's OP, but it's really hard to deal with. And
and there's a lot of things that tailor the Necrons down a bit, so it's not the good game once you see the Necrons appear on the field.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they did test a game of Craft World Eldar versus Necrons, and it actually was a game like any standard BFG game, which is at any moment the game could have gone anyway.
That's good.
Which is better than what it usually is, because usually when the Eldar fight the Necrons, you don't need to bet money because no one will take that bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Necron win, game 2, go.
But I was very happy with how it came out. Honestly, personally, I thought Battle of Dornpor was better in presentation-wise.
Yeah, probably.
Primarily because there was movement of models on screen. That's probably what I liked about it more.
Yeah.
But the story, I felt, was very good in this one. I really liked how the story came out, and my favorite is the ending. Like, anyone who didn't sit through the credits, sit through the credits. Because, one, there's bloopers, which are hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
And two, there's something at the end.
Yeah.
We always put
Well,
stuff
you
in
stole Ironman.
people. You should have learned this from movies. I know.
Yes, but I love...
We always sit through credits that we want to do it to other people.
If the bloopers, I thought, those were tough to time in so they fit right.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have thrown more in. Because there was a couple more.
That last day of filming, all we did was make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a good 20 minutes of that crap.
We didn't even do this. I was upset I couldn't find the Star Wars one, so I couldn't use that one.
Oh, I forgot about that. We just started impersonating the Emperor for like 10 minutes.
No, it wasn't that. It was you said, very well then, for Tau Va or something, and then James went, but Asho, is that legal?
I would make it legal. I forgot about
serious.
that.
Who doesn't think of the trade direction when they think Tau because of episode 1?
Dude, the Nemodians are practically Tau, but like the crappy, just watercast only Tau.
Oh, okay, Dark Lord, I have to defer to this time. Props that you knew the Viceroy species.
Yeah, you don't know Nemodians? Come on.
No, I did not know them.
Jeez.
I do know what but unlike the claims that the Nostalgia Critic says, I know what a Bothan is.
Yeah, that's true. We all know what Bothans are now. I just want to say one thing. I'm the only person on this channel that's gone to a Star Wars movie in costume.
I have not gone to a Star Wars in a costume, but I have gone with lightsabers.
Well, yeah, that's what we did when we were like 14 for episode 1, but episode 2 I was wearing a costume. I wore that costume to the art show at my school that night. That was a good night. That was so nerdy.
For me, I brought the lightsaber to Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, when they did the special editions?
When they did the re-release.
You weren't born when Empire Strikes Back came out original?
Yeah. No, I was born when Return of the Jedi came out.
Me too.
So when the day I was born... What?
Was James, were you born by then?
Were you born in 83?
No.
No,
83.
Return of the Jedi's 84.
No.
I
Return of the
didn't
Jedi's 83.
It's 83? Oh,
it's 83.
Then I wasn't born. Oh, I'm not that old.
I was the only one.
That old.
See, everyone, I just revealed that I'm like the oldest person here with that.
Well, you're the oldest, then I'm the next oldest, and James is the youngest. I know that much.
Really?
Yeah, Matt's a day younger than me, like, precisely. And
No, I know you. I thought you were one of the older ones, James.
No.
No.
Wow.
He's just the most mature one here.
Yes. Yes. Oh, speaking of, with things like that, and aging ourselves horribly, or dating ourselves is the more correct
I don't want to
term.
date myself. I'm a loser.
Yeah, no, and I'm chatty. I talk about myself a lot.
Constantly.
Yeah. But two things. One is, James, Elena has a task for you.
Oh, boy.
That task is you got to get a sidecar for your motorcycle, and you got to let her ride in it.
They actually do make a sidecar, so that will be possible. There's also a back seat.
They make a sidecar for your motorcycle?
They make it,
Which is funny, because I said to her, I don't think they make one for that type.
They do for that one. It's a bit weird. It's more of a custom body, but they do. But I do have a back seat. Actually, a big back seat for a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Well, if you were a true friend, you'd offer. And if you were a super friend, you'd go and buy that sidecar for her. Just for her.
Yeah, so to the back seat whenever
That way it's sit there, and they go, son, what's that sidecar for? It's like, in case Elena wants a ride.
Yeah. Hey.
But, the other thing, remember that night long, long ago, it was starry out, we were driving, the Stark Lord and, Rose were with us, and they bowed their heads in shame because we were quoting line for line the Transformers movie.
Oh God, that was at Icon.
We quoted the animated movie for those gamers.
Yes,
this is before those movies.
Opening line to closing line.
Pretty much verbatim, accurate.
We were at a sci-fi convention. Matt was dressed up as Vash the Stampede from Trigun. We're walking out of the main building. We're going to get food at Wendy's, and they start quoting the movie, and they do not stop till they finish. That was hilarious.
Yep. Well, I told this story to Elena, and she thinks that was the most awesome thing, and she wants to see us do it.
No, I just don't.
I'm gonna have to watch the movie 5 times in a row.
Yep, I'm gonna have to watch the movie again, because I still remember the first couple of lines, but, there are a couple parts that I get choppy, and this came up because I have Dare on my iPod.
Okay.
And so I was quoting the lines that happened in the song that the characters say. So, I'm sitting there going, come on down, Autobot! And then doing the sound effects of Blitzwing shooting his cannon at them and everything.
Yeah.
You guys are such nerds.
Hey, that movie
was childhood.
I know, I'm
that
kidding.
movie equals amazing. I don't care what anybody says.
Me and my brother used to quote all the Star Trek movies, I understand.
I still need to get a copy of Wrath of Khan.
You don't have a copy of Wrath of Khan?
No, I don't. I have 6 copies of all the Star Wars movies, but I don't have a copy of Wrath of Khan.
Fair enough.
So, I was thinking about Star Wars the other day, because why wouldn't you? It's Star Wars. Okay,
I've been doing that lately, too.
And I was just thinking the other day, when Qui-Gon wants to take Anakin as his apprentice, and Yoda says it's impossible to take a second, he should have been actually, it's pretty easy, I just did. It's really not that hard.
Yeah.
Then they would have kicked Qui-Gon out or something, I guess.
And that would stop him how? That would just give him more incentive to break the rules.
Good point.
But it's just it's possible to take a second apprentice. And it's actually, it's pretty easy. In fact, we have a whole school dedicated to teaching them here.
Whoa, wait. You're forgetting the most important part. He says that, and then what is he doing in the second one?
Yes.
Yoda's got a whole class.
Well, those aren't apprentices. That's his students. He has a student class till they get to become apprentices to a specific Jedi. And Anakin was too old to go into being taught in the little school with little kids.
Okay,
how old would the age is?
Yeah.
Well, the age is birth, pretty much. If you're over 2 years old, you're too old to begin the training, because they don't want you to have any emotional attachment.
That is true.
Yeah, and I disagree with that. Jolie Bindo says you have to have something, And I just brought up Knights of the Old Republic.
Wasn't everybody that was a main character too old to begin training or too restless to train, but yet they were trained anyway?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's not even brought up. It's brought up with such a favorite pitch of not wanting to teach Anakin, but Luke is kind of he's too old, and then Obi-Wan says no, and he goes fine.
Well, I think he learned his lesson by that point.
Well, see. There's the thing: is Luke knew. Yoda knew he was doing it. He was trying to, he was sort of testing. That was more of a test thing. He knew that he was just fishing, but he wanted to see, I guess, what Luke would do if that was thrown out there. And Obi-Wan's sitting there going, "Oh dear God, not again." But
I still stand by my theory that, and I think Dark Lord has semi-agrees with this, that they just wanted pure revenge, which is why they taught Luke.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
It was you have to bring down the evil empire, sure, but it's just they broke so many rules in training Luke just to get him to take down the Emperor, and it's just really, it's just I would have done the same exact thing.
Yeah, I just want to say 2 things. One, first off, it's funny you mentioned Star Wars because I'm actually holding a Obi-Wan Kenobi Lego figure in my hand as we were talking about it.
I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt right now.
Nice. I'm not. I don't wear those when I go to work.
I only wear those on the weekend.
And second, yeah, they train Luke like that because they need revenge, and Luke's not a Jedi, at least in the traditional sense, in my opinion. He becomes something better and new. He basically becomes Qui-Gon, becomes this kind of middle point and balances everything, and then decides to make a
Listen,
Jedi.
I don't know if you watched
okay.
episode 6. It was called Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but he's not the same kind of Jedi. He doesn't wear the dumb
here's
robes.
The thing. There's the thing. Well, no, he does wear a robe. It's just awesome because it's black.
He wears a tunic, and then he's got a cool cape.
Cloak.
It's
got a hood.
It's a cloak. It's not a robe though. It's a cloak.
But I think it's best stated in Heir to the Empire. You know, he's not the last of the old Jedi Order. He's the first of the new.
Yeah, exactly. And he makes some fixes.
Yep.
I get it. It's just that it's funny.
And then he gets his freak on with Mara Jade.
Yep. And then his great-great-grandson, while having a Death Stick dream, sees him dressed as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Read the comments.
Yeah,
Weird. Speaking of that stuff, did you guess what I found over the weekend? And I'm so happy I found it.
A new car.
Oh, that would be awesome, but even better, I found a DVD copy of Godzilla vs. Biollante.
Oh my god.
Now, for those who don't know, Godzilla vs. Biollante is one of the 2 Godzilla films to not get a DVD release in the States. And I have both of those on VHS.
For those of you who don't know, I think we've mentioned this, Matt really likes Godzilla movies.
Oh, and don't get me started with the Matthew Broderick one, or I may cry.
You know, I watched that in theaters when I was a teenager and thought it was cool.
I did too.
And then I stepped back a second and said, giant monster movie, sure. Frank Azaria,
Godzilla.
sure. Godzilla, not so much.
The best is in Final War when Zilla, as Japan calls him, fights Godzilla.
And Godzilla, I'm sure, destroys him in a second.
Okay, Zilla, the funny thing is they call him Zilla because they found that there was a bootleg toy company in the States making Godzilla toys, but they were calling them Zilla. And they go, okay, well, the American Godzilla is just a bootleg of our Godzilla, so his new name is Zilla now. And so they're attacking, Zilla is attacking Sydney, and Godzilla's running across the field, schooling all the monsters that are attacking, and they sit down, they're in Sydney, they're roaring at each other, Godzilla's doing his awesome classic roar, and Zilla, who is using the worst CG effects they could find. Like, when you compare the CG effect on this monster to the CG effect of everything else in this film, you know they purposely made this guy look crappy. And he runs at Godzilla. Godzilla tail swipes him into that shelled Coliseum thing, and then radioactive breaths him, and then he just walks away and he just cooks.
Nice.
It was glorious.
Nice. Now I got.
They're making a new one.
They would.
Where America is apparently making a second attempt at an American Godzilla film.
Whatever.
Why not? You know, big monsters breaking stuff should be entertaining.
Hopefully it will be better.
Hopefully it'll be a guy in a suit.
If it is, it better be one of the Japanese dudes, because you need a license to play Godzilla.
I know.
And only 3 people have that license, and 2 of them are dead, as far as I'm aware.
So only one man has that license.
Yeah, no, people think I'm kidding. No, it is like, that's how serious they take Godzilla. You need a special certification to play Godzilla.
Oh yeah, well,
hey,
you know, when it comes to
sense.
Japanese filmmaking, they're very big on, like, I don't want to call them dynasties, but if you're someone that does something, you do that, and that is what you do. And then it's like, when we talk, well, me and other Matt, since we're nerds and watch Kamen Rider's broken down by what director directed the series overall. Like, there's an era, like, their eras are broken down by director. And it's because that one guy did all that stuff for that time period. I think it's kind of crazy.
And the big thing is also, like, it is a goal of people to move up to those levels.
Yeah.
To be able to become those guys. And it's funny, here everyone's afraid of being typecasted. Over there, they would love to be typecasted as some of those monsters.
Yeah. Well, again, there's also the other thing with, like, you know, you look at game shows here and there, and like my favorite, I love Ninja Warrior. I forgot the name of it in Japanese. Sakura,
something like that.
Oh no, Sasuke. Sasuke, I love watching that show, and in the Japanese version, they just try to make an American one. The Japanese version, winning just means, hey, you won, congratulations, you can say you're a badass. That's that's it. And I think when they try to make it in America, there was like a cash prize, but like the Japanese, they don't want a cash prize, they just want to be the best and eat their noodles on the top of the tower and say, I'm the only guy that did this. Deal with it.
Yeah.
It's a culture.
Like a lot of it's just
culture difference thing, but it's boiled down to.
Yeah.
I got a question
it
for you.
Okay.
You know, we talked about Star Wars. Obviously, big fans of that. Matt and I talked about Transformers, the animated movie, and all that. How he's a big fan of Godzilla. Sci-fi or fantasy, take your pick. Take your pick of a specific genre within it, such as like, I don't know, diesel punk or monster, whatever, or science opera or something like that, science fiction opera. What is your favorite genre and why? For anything, be it, overall. If you had to watch a movie, play a video game, or whatever it is of that particular thing, you want in this genre.
Yeah, well, it's just guaranteed to get you to sit down and enjoy it, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's for everybody.
Do you want to answer this, Dark Lord?
I don't think I can answer this.
You can be as specific as you want. You could say, neo-modern sci-fi or neo-modern.
Yeah, I need a second to think about this.
For me, I have a lot of favorite genres, but I guess I could say like the one that I love the most is monster movies. 9 times out of 10, if I see, usually if I see a film and it's partway through or halfway through, I usually won't. It's very, I'll usually sit through it, but I'll probably try to avoid sitting through because I want to see it at the beginning. If I see a giant monster walk on screen, then I don't care how much into the film I'm in, I will sit and watch that movie. Like, that's how I got into Gamera. I got into Gamera halfway through, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, giant turtle with fangs, I'm watching.
Fair enough. That's how I got into Dune.
Fair enough.
So I'd have to say what that is it would be monster movies, followed by science fantasy, like Star Wars stuff. Star Trek, the science fiction stuff is cool, but if I had my pick, I like a little bit of fantasy and over-the-top that can happen.
Fair enough.
In my science fiction.
Cool.
Okay, I think that helps me think this out a little better. I obsess over science fiction. I mean, I love everything. I'm like a jack of all trades when it comes to nerd crap.
Oh, yeah.
Because just you say anything geeky and I'm into it. It just happens.
Kroll!
Yes! Kroll's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that star thingy.
If anyone knows what we're talking about, you're awesome.
Yeah. That was a D&D movie, technically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't it like
the first one?
Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings, that's how they explain it.
Oh god, it was a great bad movie. Anyways, it's got Liam Neeson. I mean, when it comes down to it, I'm always guaranteed to go sci-fi, but really thinking about it, I mean, I really like, I like my things to be somewhat grounded. Like, I don't like too over-the-top stuff usually. But I like Star Trek. I know Star Trek is over-the-top sometimes, but they usually try to explain it.
They try to keep it believable.
Yeah, but I just like adventure when it comes down to it. Like, I like high-flying people being awesome and ingenuitive, which is why I like steampunk so much, because usually it comes down to people just using their brains, figuring things out, and being awesome. That's also why I like Ironman movies, because that's what they're about. It's not just a guy in an awesome suit, it's a really smart guy in an awesome suit.
Awesome suit. Yep. I do like... Those are great. Those are always entertaining. The adventure is like the thing, which is ironic though, because I'm not that big of a fan of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so I guess when it comes down to it, I think I'm just going to generalize it into sci-fi tech adventure, because that covers enough of it, because I like, steampunk, cyberpunk, don't really like diesel punk, but whatever. It's just any kind
diesel
of...
punk?
Road Warrior, diesel punk.
Okay. I've never seen Road Warrior.
What about Beyond Thunderdome?
I've seen bits and pieces. The only part of Beyond Thunderdome I saw was the moment where the girl goes, you know the rules, bust the deal, face the wheel.
2 men enter, 1 man leave. That stuff's great. That's like the only good part of that movie. Just be honest.
Okay, I think one funny story with that you brought that up. was we were hanging out in one of the common rooms once, and I was over with my girlfriend. You know, we were making googly eyes to each other and everything because we just started dating, so we were in that like puppy love state where, you know, it's all new and amazing and wonderful. And you were talking to somebody about that, and you're like, oh, face the wheel, make a deal or something. I immediately chimed going, it's bust the deal, face the wheel. And Frank went, okay, that's sad when he's sitting over there making out with his girlfriend and he's still able to correct you over here.
Yeah. So James, what's your answer to your own question?
I obviously give thought because I have like kind of time of it, and I'm that kind of lame. So, you know, I'm also a big fan of pretty much everything. I'll give it a shot. I mean, I prefer sci-fi over fantasy, but fantasy is still pretty cool. I love Lord of the Rings as far as fantasy settings go.
Yeah. Needs more airships.
A little more subtle, and I like that about it. I mean, it's subtle with a gigantic trip. But you get my point. Its magic is a lot more subtle, which I really like in it.
It's like flashlights and some shaky stuff.
Something happened. Something actually happened. You don't really know why it happened, but it happened.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But overall, my sci-fi is what I pick. And at the end of the day, it comes down to straight up cyberpunk for me. It's probably my favorite. If anything, cyberpunk, which is funny because I'll fully admit I've never read any of the classic cyberpunk novels because I don't have that kind of time.
That's okay. Just watch Ghost in the Shell. You get the gist. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Ghost in the Shell. I've seen other stuff, but
Ghost in the Shell is awesome, by the way.
I don't have time to. I don't really have the time to sit down and read the classic novels of that particular genre or any real genre because they tend to be, you know, sometimes a hard read.
They're lengthy. They're hard to read.
The thing I like about cyberpunk is that it's a near future event usually. Sometimes it can be far future, but it's usually near future. And the thing I like about cyberpunk is it's the idea of the potential of a utopian society is there. And a lot of cyberpunk has got dark overtones to it. You know, instead of being a utopian society, it's very much mega corporations rule everything, and you know, do this or you'll go missing or worse.
Big Brother's watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a lot of conspiracy. It's got aspects of film noir in it. It's got aspects of conspiracy theorist buffs in it. It's got a whole bunch of little things in it, which adds to its appeal. But at its core, for me, cyberpunk represents hope and progress. Hope and progress together because it demonstrates really well. And you know, and another thing that demonstrated this pretty well to me, and I know many people, and I enjoyed the movie just for action's sake, but not as an actual sequel, was Terminator 3. Really gave me the idea of progress cannot be stopped. That's really what the Terminator 3 shows you. And Cyberpunk's all about progress is going to happen, and ultimately there's a choice. Bring down society, crush this technology, don't get the nanotech upgrade, or don't get the cybernetics or the bionics, whatever it is. We're going to start anew. But ultimately, it's inevitable. We'll never take a step backwards. We've never taken a step backwards technologically, ever.
Well,
we only go forward.
Dark Ages, kinda.
We didn't really take a step backwards.
That wasn't voluntary.
That was kind of a long pause.
Yeah, it wasn't a step backwards. It was a plateau.
Yeah.
It was a plateau.
And it wasn't voluntarily done. We didn't just say, "Go, let's stop."
That's true.
That's what happened.
It was random side note about that. I don't know. Later.
It was basically like that was more of we want to rule the world, we're subjugate it, and stuff happens, and you know what happens with that. But
yeah, progress
is stopped. You may be able to slow it down. You maybe even have a plateau where it just kind of stays at a certain level, but it's going to go up. So if you break down the technology we have now, we're going to rebuild it and go past it. And hope, because, you know, cyberpunk also shows the dark side of human nature with information technology controlling it, and technology and biology, and we can really mold perfect people or make things the way we want it. But the hope of the utopia that could come from it and the progress, that you can't stop progress, and this really can work out to be the best for everybody. And I really like that, and the reason I like it so much is because cyberpunk is grounded in reality. If you look at stuff that was talked about in the 40s, 50s, and 60s with cyberpunk, some of it never happened, but a lot of stuff never even dreamed of has happened. We can control computers with our own brain with an implant. It's been done. It's been proven. We have better cybernetic limbs, like, bionic limbs, natural cybernetic stuff, and exoskeletal suits to enhance the bank and let people cripples walk again. So we're getting to the state of a cyberpunk nation. And then if you think about cyberpunk global concept in terms of technology, that
look at the iPads.
Yeah, I mean, we have things that you never would have dreamed of. I mean, I just want to say real quick, it's funny because when you look at some of the older stuff, and this is not specifically cyberpunk, but Robotech had computers that were full-on room computers, so it was in the 1980s for the future. Like, this is our computer room. Look how big it is. And clearly we don't do that anymore. And they had VHSs and cassettes representing, like, the media, like, distribution of media back then. Because that's all that they really knew. But, and that, I just use that as an example that I know it, but as we go through time, we can see how things that were thought of either cyberpunk or sci-fi are coming into reality. So I find it very cool that it's a genre that represents progress and hope at its core, in my opinion, for me. It's actually kind of, I don't want to say it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's coming, basically. You're going to get a cybernetic soon, I guarantee it.
Oh, what's really cool about cybernetic limbs, because technically they do exist, or at least really high-tech prosthetics.
We have ones that I think simulate 15 of the 35 full motions that the hand can do.
Yeah, those are
and
good,
some of them can determine hot and cold.
You don't want to know how complicated the software is in like a standard leg these days. It's fantastic. It's so cool. What's interesting? What?
It's complicated and it's also simple. The computer is just a series of yes or no questions and it answers. That's all it is.
Yeah, and it does it really well.
Yeah.
But they're really pretty snazzy. But really cool or interesting going off of that is even with the prosthetic community, because I pay attention to these things because I'm into prosthetics and medical science a little bit.
He wants to replace his whole body with robots.
Shush.
Not like robotic limbs, like a robot for a leg, a robot for another leg.
I want to be Voltron when I grow up, okay?
Yes.
It's so much to ask.
Yes, it is. Right now.
Yeah. But
20 years from now, no.
But
that'll be like redundant.
A lot of people are actually cutting off more of their limb, like basically prosthetics styling up until a couple, like 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago. Usually the doctor tends to try to save as much of the actual human limb as possible if they're like cutting a leg off for some reason.
Yeah.
So that you have something and you don't want to cut off more anything healthy, and then you figure out a way to attach a prosthetic to that. Now a lot of people are like, no, take the whole thing because it's better fit for the prosthetic. It makes it easier for the machinery to work.
Yeah.
So people are making more of an allowance, for stuff.
It's funny because you look at that and you look at movies and video games where somebody had is getting a prosthetic cybernetic bionic arm, whatever you want to call it, and they cut off the whole thing up to the shoulder and then it's a full cybernetic limb. Like it's almost like tech is following the trend that was in culture.
Yeah, because I mean,
a good example with that.
Oh, sorry, but I mean, think of
this.
Example. Sorry, you first.
A good example with that is in the game Deus Ex. He only gets in the new one. He only gets like cuts and scrapes and a couple of broken bones in his arms, and they just remove his arms completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also got really hurt. But it wasn't enough to warrant a whole arm.
Yeah, it wasn't enough to report his arms being removed.
Yeah. But I mean, look at it this way. Even with us, James, I think if you had the option for a permanent cybernetic eye, you'd probably take that up.
Oh, I would. I'm not saying I wouldn't. It's just I find it interesting, and also cyberpunk things with the idea of now that you have some of the company's property in you, or you part of their property. But
yes. I had that conversation in high school with our friend Stan. We used to be like, well, what happens if Sony makes the nanites in your blood, and then, I don't know, some other company makes your brain implants? Are they going to get into a fight?
Yeah, right. But
all of a sudden you crash because your systems aren't more compatible.
Exactly.
Oh, don't even get me started if you get a leg from Apple and an arm from Samsung.
Oh, it's on like Donkey Kong.
You'll be sued.
By yourself.
You will. Yes. You'll get a summons from your left foot.
Match. I can't get it to work.
Then
you're going to have people hacking their Apple leg because they want the Apple smooth iPad style leg, and they're going to hack it and put Windows on it just because they can.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, they're gonna just what's the new thing that they call with the iPhones that you do?
Jailbreaking?
Yeah, they'll jailbreak the leg so it gets all the apps.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because it's an Apple product, it's going to have apps.
And then you'll have the real hipsters go over to Linux.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Linux ARM, and nothing ever happens with it because nobody really does anything with it. They just say that they have it.
Exactly.
But the idea of the cybernetic stuff that is coming is cool. I mean, it's basically almost here, but not in that same degree. And let's not forget the idea of nanotech. The Deus Ex game, the one that the third one or whatever it was, the latest one that came out.
Human Evolution.
Human Evolution was a fun game. It was a prequel to the first one. The first one had nanotech in it.
Yep.
But it's cool because what you're reading or seeing in games or movies as far as cyberpunk, it's coming in one way, shape, or form. It's not directly like it's shown. It's kind of here. Let's not forget AI and the crazy human realistic robots in Asia.
Yeah, those are great. Have you seen?
It's getting so close.
Have you guys? I don't know how much you paid attention to this either, but some of the cooler things in nanotech in the past year. One of them was self-assembling DNA-based building bricks.
Oh yeah,
basically
the nanotech factory.
Yeah, like they self-assemble. They're really cool. They have 22 base pair chain of nucleotides that forms into, like, if you want to think of a 2x1 Lego brick but microscopic, and they can make them build into things, and it's just cool.
That's
they've been
crazy.
working on the nano factory for a while.
Yeah, no, it's just
the idea of
a fun thing to come up with.
Yeah, and they can build things up that are really intricate and small to make super compact turbines and super compact like propulsion systems.
I mean, it's not the same as we imagined in Cyberpunk or in a lot of other future stuff where it's like these crazy mechanical spider nanites in your blood, but it's like we're finding ways to make nano miniaturized machinery, and it's very cool.
Serious, at that level yet. You'll get there as having crazy. You'll get crazy.
Crazy spider nanites.
When the spider nanites come, I'm going to get a bunch of them and train them to be phone spiders. That way, when telemarketers call me, I can send the phone spiders.
Very good, Seth.
Nice. But yeah,
there's also some really cool stuff. Like tech right now, there's a lot of cool things in the tech departments that people just aren't paying attention to, and they should.
Yes.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have run out of time right now. We've been talking for an hour and 21 minutes.
Oh.
We do.
So, sorry?
Says what we do, people.
It is. This is one of the longer ones. It's crazy. You never know what's going to happen.
You don't. We just busted out nanotech and calling computers with your mind. Well, you can
and
we'll
your
talk
left
about
leg
synthetic biology next time.
Yeah, and for the person who listens while at the hospital, I just figured that reminded me. Very cool.
Yes. Yep. Yes, because one of our viewers does the night shift. So
that's a tough shift out there. Thanks for listening to us. We appreciate it.
Yes, and we hope that you appreciate it, and any passerby that passes by you appreciates it.
We do.
If they can, find out if they work like the night shift, like near the morgue, and if so, can they like bring us down there and we'll make funny noises for an episode, like and like zombie noises that scare their coworkers? Because that's the creepiest thing in the middle of the night.
You person, you. Oh, yes.
That was offensive. I apologize.
That was the thing right there. But yeah, that's just one example that we know that somebody specifically says that's what they do. So what is the, I don't want to say strange, so where's the most unique place you listen to a podcast most for anything from Fearless Game? I mean, let us know. And remember,
it could be,
share us with your friends and make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's free to subscribe. It gives you, it's a gift you can give yourself that keeps on giving, because we keep on giving.
Yep. And if you enjoyed Rise of the Magi, there will be more of that. I assure you of that. Yep. They probably won't be as long because last time we tried that, it took us over a year to get it done.
Yeah. But if people have suggestions for something they want us to do, because we'll gladly do that for any kind of a game. We can throw together a campaign, but we could make a campaign for a game and do something ridiculous like that.
Yep. I actually have one really bunch of stuff lined up, which is going to be awesome. And also, and the question that we left you with is what's your favorite sci-fi genre?
Or just genre, not even sci-fi.
Or genre, sorry, yes. Because I was thinking sci-fi. Sci-fi was on the
honestly,
brain.
Their favorite genre could be like mid-18th century women's literature, and that'd be awesome.
Hey, let us know. Let us know what your favorite genre is, and also if you have any questions at all, because as you can see, we covered a wide variety of topics that we haven't really covered before on the podcast. Hit us up with questions.
Just in general.
You can even ask us, how do you cook your eggs? And I'll tell you. Either an omelet or over easy. There you go. Question answered. Next question.
Well, it's a lot more complicated than just omelet, man, okay?
You can ask me anything about we could ask any of us questions about anything that we've established a liking to, like Godzilla, Robotech, Star Trek.
Or things we haven't established a liking for.
Or establishing, yes,
like
and find out if we like it.
And Powerpuff Girls. Sorry,
okay, I think there's only
anything. Just
anything. And even if it's and here's the thing is, even if we don't know about it, like with the one models that Dragon asked us about the one time.
We'll look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will look it up. We'll look up what you ask if we don't know what it is, just so we can answer your question.
We have that.
So, yes, you have the power to make this podcast go in places.
Yes.
So
thanks again.
That is all right now. Yep. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe us so we can get out there and hopefully entertain more of you. And until next time, Fearless Gamers, this is Matt the Vet.
The Stark Lord.
This is James the Wildcard giving all thumbs up, but you can't see it.
And I'm just going to say, I love how the Stark Lord has to remember what his name is.
Yeah.
So until next time, Fearless Gamers, take care.
Bye-bye now.